So, we are doing something now that we have been looking forward to. The movie, Donnie Brasco. The studio has approved we can play clips as long as they're not past a certain amount of seconds, but we will go in and out. And Joe, who was on the set, he can tell us exactly what went down behind the scenes. You'll hear what the scene is, and then Joe will take off. And I got a lot of questions, and we'll touch all the bases like we normally do. Now, I do want to say that Donnie Brasco, it's the movie is streaming on Netflix. You can go and watch it, even if you saw it before. I looked at it,
and you can even watch it on pay channels.
Oh, you can watch it on pay channels. What do you get? Commission? He gets commission. I'll bet you.
No commission, but the actors have to get their royalties and
the residuals. The residuals. I'm still getting big residuals on Halloween too, and that was only 40 years ago. I mean, it's very important for the people involved, the actors and the director and all, to get wet their beak, like they say, right, Joe?
That's right. Everybody has to wet their beak.
Now we're going to start with the killing of the three capos, which, in the mob world, was the biggest, to my knowledge, organized hit of the echelon of mob, mob guys, because you have three capos of the Bonanno family who are cut down in this scene. Okay? Let's hit it.
Let's go.
Where are you going? Wait in the car.
All right. Now, Joe, the characters that were in the car with you. First, give us their mob names, and then I'll fill in the actors and you too.
Yeah, well, that was James Russo. And
what did he play?
Paulie.
He played Paulie, okay.
Character by name of Paulie. And Mike Madsen, who played Sonny Black. And Bruno Kirby, who played Nicky. They were in the car. And now, for the audience, not to get the wrong impression, I wasn't actually on the hit scene, okay? I don't want people to think that I participated in those hits. I was supposed to be on the cleanup crew that cleaned up the hits, but at the last minute I was actually canceled. So.
Okay, so we have dramatic license in this scene.
Dramatic license, yeah. Now, well, the hits went down. Those guys got whacked, by the crew that I was with. And then we'll explain it as it goes on further.
Okay. Everybody keep that in mind. And we could start again where we left off, please.
We got to get downtown. How long is this going to take?
I got him in the drain in the laundry room.
With the 22s?
Bruno said you want the 9mm.
Yeah, meanwhile, where the fuck is he?
Yeah.
There was some broad with more hair on her lip, and he's got on his head.
Well, he's your kid.
Don't remind me. Come on.
Yeah, I like that.
You think that's funny, huh?
Now, that was the audio of the three capos, right? Run them down, Joe?
The three capos. Right. The three capos. Well, the three capos, there was a sit-down called by the Sonny Black's crew and Joy Messina's crew, the crew that I was with, to to come to some kind of agreement on the beef that was going on within the family. But the whole plan was once the three capos got to the sit down, the crew I was with was going to kill him. Now, an interesting side note: Big Trin. You heard his voice when he said about
Yes.
where he had the guns hid. Well, Big Trin was not an actor. I mean, that wasn't his profession.
He must have been a little hefty, right?
We grew up together. Well, I'm getting to that, Leo.
No, you. Go ahead.
Who's going to tell this story, you or me? So, like I say, Big Trin was a childhood friend of mine. We grew up together. We went to high school together. We played football together. In fact, Big Trin was an all-state running back, a fullback, and he went on to play 4 years of college football. And at that point in time, his real name was George Angelica. That was his real name, and he passed away a couple of years ago. May his soul rest in peace. But but at that time, Trin or George had kind of a weight problem, and he probably was about 300 and maybe 320. And we needed a big actor to play Big Trin. So another childhood friend of ours was a casting director, Lou DiGiamo.
Patterson, New Jersey.
That we all grew up together. Patterson, New Jersey. So I mentioned to Lou. I said, how about George, Big George? And he said, well, he's never acted. I said, well, everybody has to act the first time, right? Now, if you remember, you, Leo, and the audience, there were no well-known actors that had played in previous mob movies.
That's right.
As gangsters, right? Think about it. I mean, Mike Madsen, Jimmy Russo, Johnny, Bruno Kirby. Now, Bruno Kirby had played in Godfather, 2 or 3, but there weren't the normal everyday faces that you see in prior gangster movies, because the Lou and the director Mike Newell and Barry Levinson, who was heavily involved in bringing the movie to the screen, they didn't want the same faces to be in this movie. So that's why, so we brought George into New York to read for the part, and he knocked it out of the ballpark.
Robert De Niro in Bronx Tale, I know for a fact, used a couple of real guys that from the neighborhood. But it's really something that when you get into an environment and everybody's in wardrobe and you read the script and then you go to a location that you know what's going to happen there, the adrenaline starts to rush, right, Joe?
Exactly. And in that dialogue and scene there, they're getting out of the car and walking up the stairs to go into the house, the residence, where the hits took place. I mean, in real life, the hits took place in a restaurant, and then they go in. They're supposed to go down the basement, and Trin goes to turn the lights on, and the lights aren't working. They say, well, the bulb must have burnt out, but the hitters actually had unscrewed the light bulb, so there was no light down there. But again, the hits really took place in a restaurant, not in somebody's basement.
Dramatic license. There we go.
From Jam Street Media.